9 months ago, I started helping artists, writers, musicians, photographers, game developers to make space in their busy lives for creativity, to get back to the thing that they were most passionate about. And it's completely ruined my life. I'm at the point where I need to go get a normal job, and that makes me feel sick. And I'm starting to sell off my studio music gear so I can keep this going. Let me tell you why I'm going to do it anyway. So last year my role was made redundant at Indeed. I was working as a learning and development manager overseeing a global team, and for the second time I was kind of on a short list of people that they're going to make redundant, and my name was picked, and they said thanks and bye. So over the summer, I took some time to reflect about what was I going to do next. I wasn't in a rush to go and get another job, because I've told this story before a few times on this channel, that I've had 4 or 5 kind of brushes with being laid off and having my roles made redundant over the past couple of years. But this time I really finally kind of heard the nudge to go and do something for you. Go and do something that's important, something that's going to light you up, something that you're going to get fully invested in. And when I reflected on all the skill sets that I had, I've made money from photography and video work for clients. I've made money for writing music for videos and film in the past. I've got loads of people leadership and management skills that I've used. But I thought back on, of all the skill sets that I have, the ones that I've enjoyed the most, and particularly in my, probably 30-year career at this point, was really working closely with people who were fully invested in the work that they did, that were creative and trying to find a kind of balance between the work that they do and their creativity, their passion projects. And genuinely, I've worked with some of the most amazing people, really creative, wonderful people, and I'm still in touch with them. I mean, last night I had dinner with somebody who was on my team 10 years ago in London at Apple. And I had 2 people visit last month. And Barney, whose story we're going to tell later, and I'm looking to make a video about, he's come on as part of this as well, because I've just been able to find a way to really connect and support and help people to grow. And it was that piece, I was like, that really lights me up. It was the reason why I trained to be a coach and I trained to be a spiritual director, because I love walking alongside people and seeing their journeys. And that's what kind of got me to think, okay, well, what would it look like to build a business where I could be a guide to all of these creative types and help them out. And at the start I was going, oh, what do people really need? And I was like, okay, well, if you're you've got a busy parent and you've got a full life and you're in a corporate job, maybe you need space for creativity. So that's where I started. And like a lot of you who watch this channel have downloaded my starter kit, and you've had tips to put your phone down and get away from the doom scroll and hopefully make some space. And then when I started talking to a couple of people who connected with me over that, they were kind of like, okay, well, I've made some space, but like now how do I finish my projects? How do I get into them? I kind of get stuck in the middle, or I completely abandon them. And like that feels really bad, because I'm able to finish projects for work. So that kind of led me down the road of helping write an assessment where you could figure out what type of creative finisher you are, and tips to be able to move forward. But the people who've come to me again and again, the people who've paid me for my time to do one-on-one sessions, and the people who joined me last month when we did 30 days of finishing in September, and we were doing co-creating calls, the people who joined that, the people who talked to me, they didn't just have a full-time job. Some of them did, but most people were actually really focused on their art and their creativity and wanting to turn it into something that was fulfilling and meaningful and would provide for them. And that really kind of got me thinking, that's also what I'm doing. I want to use my creativity. Obviously, I'm making YouTube videos as part of that, but I'm also sat here amongst my music studio gear, and I'm using that to fuel my creativity. And I've just come to the point of going, actually, the people who really want to move forward, the people who really want to connect it, they're not beginners and they're not even amateurs. They genuinely at a point where they're going, I want to push into this and I want this to be important. But for me right now, it's not paying my bills. It's not making enough money for me to continue to do it. So I have a choice. Do I get a job, or do I focus in on this and double down? And of course, when I sit down and talk to my wife, or my parents, they're like, oh yeah, well, get a job. It'll be, and you can do this on the side. And I've seen lots of roles on LinkedIn. I'm going, oh, I'd be perfect for that. That would fill in. And part of me goes, that would definitely, help with the money problems. It would solve that. But when I think about going to an office 5 days a week, it kind of makes me feel a little bit sick. I'm not sure I could do it. Now, I'm not fully ruling out kind of getting extra work, because I definitely don't want my family to starve or us to get kicked out of our house. So I'm not ruling it out. But in the time being, I have put a few of my precious drum machines and synths up online to sell them and to free up some cash. But also because I haven't been using them in a way that makes it worthwhile. And I'd rather sell these than have to jump back into a job. Just being straight up with you. And maybe, and it's not because I'm stubborn, okay, maybe a little bit, but because I really believe that there's something important about this. The more and more I see the chaotic news and the world around us, the more and more I see people saying that, creativity is being eroded by AI, the more and more I go, no, it's so much more important for us as humans to connect together, but also to actually put work out into the world, creative work, and I think that like there's this whole AI slop conversation going on online, and I use AI, I find it helpful, but I've yet to see something that I go, oh, that's creative or original or beautiful, or my breath is taken away, compared to when I look at real artwork or read a book that's been written and mulled over by a human. And I just think that's so important right now to do that. When I think about like working with Barnaby, and he's building out a learning and development consultancy business that's powered by his creativity. Like he's a filmmaker and a musician, and he uses those skills to put into helping his clients to like meet their learning and development needs. Or I think about working with Sheldon, and he's trying to figure out, one, how to price his work, and two, what work does he want to do that's going to really fulfill him, Or Lynn, who I met through the co-working calls, and like last week we had a conversation, and she's at the point in her life where she's going, okay, I'm going to let go of my business, and she's been coaching and building businesses with people, and she's going, I want to level up as an artist. So all of those things matter. And to all the people who showed up on our co-working calls to work together on their art, while they're developing their games or working on their 3D projects, or working on business plans, all of them showed up, and that matters. It just shows me that there's something here. There's something really valuable that we can do, and do it together. And I'm not a guru. I'm not a business guru. Yes, I've had decades of experience in big businesses like Apple, Riot Games, at Indeed, small charities where we helped people. And there's a reason I worked at a small charity, because I have a real heart to walk alongside people, and in this case it was help them get back to work. And it was a wonderful experience. But like, I'm still building out my business. I'm still having to learn how to do marketing, how to write emails, how to build automation, and I'm doing it in real time. And I'm being honest and real with you about this. Like, I'm not some guru who's made it. I'm not trying to sell you a course that's going to get you to like 10,000, 20,000, 100K months. That's not what this is about. This is about building something that's sustainable and useful. So if you're in a place where you've got a creative side, a personal passion that you go, there's more here. And you've tried to make it. You know that you're just kind of playing in the penny place or in a tiny little pond, and you know that there's something bigger. And with all the tools that we have to address huge markets on social media, with websites, assessing a global market, I think it's possible. I think it's possible for all of us to level up and do great work, do things that inspire us. And if you can make something that you're going to love, because we can find other people out there, you'll be able to find other people who love what you do. Now, I don't have all the business chops, but I'm a couple of steps into this process, and I can definitely help you think about how you price your work, how you attract clients, how you focus, how you get through all of these stages. And it just inspired me to build this collective, a creative collective where we can all work together. And of course, you can still be part of it and figure out how to make space for your creativity. You can also figure out how to finish your projects, but also get to the point where you can think about why this is important to you, what you want it to look like, what you want your life to look like. How do you build it so it's not a 9 to 5? How do you price things? How do you figure that out? We're not just doing this alone. We're going to do it together. And at the moment, I'm just looking for 10 people. I already have 3 or 4 who are going to be part of founding this and getting it started before we open it up to more people. And I just think that if this resonates with you, then have a think about joining the collective. But also feel free to subscribe and keep watching and seeing what happens and seeing if what we're doing resonates and makes sense for you. But either way, this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I'm doing. I was on a call with Barney yesterday, and we didn't quite figure it out, but hopefully next week we're going to get a chance to get an interview with him where he'll tell his story of how he's grown over the past year, because we've been working together. And like I said in the last video, he even came all the way from Melbourne. When he was on this trip to Europe, he dropped in here in Dublin to hang out with me for 24 hours and see what I was up to. So there was something that he couldn't even get on Zoom that, we were able to get, having dinner and going for a swim in the sea and, a couple of pints of Guinness. And, it's just an amazing privilege to be able to walk alongside you, and also to make these videos and have thousands of people watch them. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, because it just gives me a real kick to see that there's people watching along for my journey while I help you walk along with yours. Okay, next week hopefully we'll see Barney's story. But if you see any drum machines or synths for sale online, it's probably me. So you're in the market for any of that. Let me know. You follow my channel, I'll get you a good deal. But until then, YouTube's going to recommend another video for you here. Don't forget all the things I mentioned: the starter kit, the quiz for what type of finish you are, as well as details of the creative collective, are all going to be in the description below. Okay, until next time, stay creative.